Hey, Pastor Josh here. Happy Thanksgiving. If you're watching this live, hope you're having a good Thanksgiving. Either have or will. We're going to look at and turn our attention to the very thing by which we should be most thankful, most grateful for. Sacrifice of Jesus and his accusation before Pilate. So let's look at the text. And as soon as it was morning, remember all of the proceedings that had happened between the chief priest. All of this is happening at nighttime in the early morning hours. It's not even light yet. And now light is coming up. It is turning into Friday morning now. And the chief priest held a consultation with the elders and scribes and the whole council. That council there is a technical word, speaking of the Sanhedrin, the Jewish Supreme Court, the ultimate kind of authority, religious authority. And so you see the consultation with all of these various leaders here together, and the whole council is here together, and they have made a proclamation essentially that Jesus is a problem. Jesus needs to be executed. Jesus is committing blasphemy because of his claims. Because of his claim to be God. The high priest did not misread Jesus' statement. Jesus was indeed claiming to be God. And so they bound Jesus, led him away, and delivered him over to Pilate. A lot of the old confession of faiths will talk about Jesus suffering under Pontius Pilate. And so now the infamous trial between Jesus and Pilate occurs. Jesus is brought before Pilate. You see a lot more details of this, particularly in John. But Jesus is brought before Pilate, and Pilate asks him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And this, of course, is an attitude we need to adopt. I'm assuming if you're a Christian, you're watching this, you believe it, that Jesus is the king of the Jews. But what I want you to think about and pay attention to is the irony here. You have the governor, you have the ruling authority asking Jesus if he is the king of the Jews. And notice Jesus' statement. Of course, he is the king of the Jews. He's the king of everything. He is their Messiah and their Christ. But notice how Jesus responds to him. And he answered him, "You have said so." It doesn't say yes. He did a very Jesus type thing. He says, "You have said so. Are you the king of the Jews? You said so. You're asking me this. You must think there might be a chance that I'm claiming to be it, so you have said it." And so you have the ruling authority, the governor, asking the king of the universe if he is the king of the Jews. And Jesus is saying, "You have said it. You are proclaiming that I am." The very fact that we're having this trial is actually showing the fact that I am the king of the Jews. And then what happens? It's almost like the religious leaders and the chief priests don't get enough of it. And the chief priests accused him of many things. Of course, that would be a great sin. And how many times, so let's think here for a second who these people are, these chief priests. Of course, they're religious leaders in their heart of hearts. I think they think they're doing right. They think they're doing well. They think they are. It looks like y'all don't even can't even see that right now. But the chief priests are ultimately religious people trying to do what is right, and here they are accusing Jesus, the sinless, the only sinless person. They are accusing God of many things. We really have to be careful, as Christians, that we don't get on our high horse, we don't get arrogant, and that we start accusing other people of so many things without totally knowing the whole story. And of course, Jesus was innocent, totally innocent. And here you have the religious elite accusing Jesus of many things. And of course, all of those things would be wrong. And here's what Pilate says. Pilate's observing this, and Pilate again asked him, "Have you no answer to make?" Because Jesus was quiet when all of this was happening, particularly before Pilate. We've seen another situation where he was quiet. And Pilate says, see how many charges they bring against you? Don't you want to say something? Don't you want to defend yourself? But Jesus made no further answer, so that Pilate was amazed. Jesus made no further answer, so that Pilate was amazed. I think this is an example for us to follow, in Jesus' footsteps, to not feel like we have to get the final word. We don't have to defend ourselves when we have all the accusations coming against us. And in particular, when they're foolish, when they're wrong, when they're incorrect. We do not have to give an answer. I think that's a good example for us to follow, because so many times we put ourselves in situations, we get ourselves in arguments that we don't have to, if we would just let the silly accusations fly and not even respond to it. Again, I hope you have a good Thanksgiving if you're watching this live, or hope that you have had a good and very happy Thanksgiving. We have so much to be thankful for. I hope that has been a blessing to you. I'll see you in the next video.